Welcome to this edition of the Mark Kingston Show, alongside the head coach, Mike Lefko, with you. A couple of good winning weekends to recap. Coach, let's start with a series against a ranked Michigan State team. Your team beat them, the first ranked win in nearly 2 years. What did it mean to knock off a team like that?
It was important. Obviously, you want to play the best and you want to have success against the best teams. So they came in ranked as high as 17th in the country. Their record, I believe, was 14-1 at the time. They were playing great baseball, beating really good teams. So really good for us to win that series and show that on our best days, we can play with anybody.
And it must have been tough to see that team 14-1. Then they come in on opening night, put up 11 runs to start the series. What did you tell your team about forgetting that and responding on the next two nights?
That's all you can do. Baseball is a game that demands you show up every day and gives you a lot of opportunities. So we weren't at our best that Friday night, but we had to flush it. We had to move on to Saturday. We won a tight game on Saturday, got a really good pitching outing from Brandon Lawson, and then we came out on Sunday and played really good baseball and hit 4 home runs that day. So really good weekend for us. No question about it.
You think that changed the dynamic of the series, that after they scored 11, you're able to come out and hold them off and then not allow any runs in that Saturday game?
Yeah, I think Billy Moll, our pitching coach, and Brandon did a good job of watching them Friday night, seeing what they liked, what they didn't like, and then made some adjustments going into Saturday. And I think that showed. Brandon had really good stuff that night, had good command, and Coach Moll had a plan of attack for their hitters. So thought they really did a nice job of responding to Friday night.
Well, this final non-conference weekend, last weekend against Dartmouth, you've seen a lot of baseball. Have you been around a series like that, 3 consecutive shutouts on the weekend?
I don't think so. One year when Coach Mull and I were at Tulane, I remember we played Utah and we shut them out 3 days in a row, but never where both teams had a shutout and every game was decided with a shutout. So yeah, when you're around baseball long enough, you're going to see some crazy things.
It's so strange to have a game like that. The Saturday one that you guys lost, 1-0. It essentially boiled down to 1 hit, 1 stolen base. Did you tell your team, hey, that's sometimes what happens, or did they realize, hey, baseball can be so fickle at times?
Well, I mean, what I told them is we shouldn't get shut out, period. I mean, no matter who we're facing, we feel like we have enough quality hitters in our lineup that we shouldn't be shut down completely like that. Now, their guy was really good and will be a pro prospect and will get drafted this year. But that being said, I don't ever expect our guys to be satisfied with getting shut out or accepting that. So once again, we had to accept it and we had to move on, and we came out the next day and we won. So that's what we've seen out of this team. When we take a punch, we've been able to get back at it and try to have success afterwards.
So the Dartmouth series win, 6 straight weekend series wins for USF. First time they've ever done that in program history. You're in the middle of the season. I know that doesn't hold much weight now, but just for this season, how much of a boost does that give you going into conference play?
I mean, I just think it's our approach every day is just get better and try to win that game that day. And when you look at it as a whole, as the big picture, we've won every series we've played this year. So I think that's fine. But at the end of the year, I tell our team that they don't ask you how many series you won. They ask you how many games you won. So while it's nice to win series, we focus on the day that we're playing, and we're trying to win that game.
It's been a lot of low-scoring games that you guys have been able to grind out. The weekend pitching has been so solid. Are you comfortable with this rotation, what they can bring you against any opponent on the weekend?
Yeah, all 3 guys, I would say, have been very pleasant surprises. We thought coming into the year that they could have success, but they've had even more success than maybe we even anticipated. So they've been doing a great job. They've been keeping this thing together for us. So when we give them the ball, we feel like we have a chance to win. I think our defense has solidified some behind them. They've started to throw more strikes. The pitching staff as a whole, our defense has played better behind them, I think, because of that. And now it's time for our offense to catch up. When our offense catches up to our pitching and defense, then I think we'll be closer to where we want to be.
Well, when we come back, we'll talk with the headliner, the Friday night man in the weekend rotation. Phoenix Sanders joins the Mark Kingston Show after this.
The University of South Florida is a regional powerhouse with global significance, leading advances that are changing the world. Now a leader among the nation's universities in research, healthcare, and just being cool. The place where young men and women train to become the best.
This is where the bulls run.
Welcome back to the Mark Kingston Show. We're joined now by junior Phoenix Sanders. Phoenix, you're a junior, but it's your first year here with USF. How do you think the first year's gone so far?
It's gone pretty well. Can't complain. Guys are great. Coaches are great. Team's starting to come together. We're really having a good time out there.
When you were named that Friday night starter, how did that come about? Did Mark and Billy sit you down? Did you know early on that, hey, it was going to be your ball to start the season?
It was actually really late into it. It's kind of just, I think it was Tuesday of that week. They're going to, hey, you're getting the ball Friday. And of course, you get excited, but my big thing is always team. So if I'm pitching on Tuesdays, Fridays, as long as I'm out there giving the best effort for my team to win, then I'm excited.
This season has started off very well for you guys, for you and the rest of the weekend rotation. Does that kind of feed on itself? You turn in a good outing, Brandon and Joe follow behind you. Do you think it's a cumulative effort?
Oh, absolutely. I think it can start on Tuesday. Have a good outing on Tuesday from someone, it boils over to me, and then Lawson and Cavallero, we're all just feeding off each other. So it's competition to see who can do the best of the group. But again, we're still a team. As long as we keep winning, I think that's the main goal for everybody.
It seems like when you're on the mound, you're pretty locked in. You like to work quickly. You don't kind of take your time out there. Is that what you like when you're locked in and you can kind of get in the zone?
My big thing is always getting into a rhythm. So once I get in that rhythm, that's when I can start cruising, throw a lot of strikes, let the defense work. Like we had that 3-pitch inning and just we're out there probably 30 seconds. It just felt like as long as I can throw strikes, the defense works. They stay on their toes and the games go by quick. I don't have 3-hour-long games. I know the fans like the 2-hour games we've been trying to put together.
So a couple weekends ago against Michigan State, they hit you pretty hard. You come back against Dartmouth and go the distance. Did you get some motivation from that Michigan State game, or did you wipe it away completely?
Just kind of wiped it away. Baseball is a game where you can go out, you're not going to have your best stuff every day, so it's the days you don't have your best stuff, how you bounce back, and just didn't have it that day. And just got to know, okay, it's in the past, we move forward. Threw well on Friday, had a lot of ground balls, defense worked really well, ended up throwing a complete game shutout. If we would have won 50-0 or 50-49, I don't really care as long as we win on Fridays. That's my big thing.
Well, you have pitched at home in every one of these starts. Now you're going to go on the road for a couple of weekends, including this Friday. Does that change anything?
No, it's the same thing. It's the same game. You go on you can pitch in front of 100 people or 1,000. As long as you just throw strikes, keep the ball down. Well, again, defense is what wins games, so let your defense work.
Some good teams coming up in this conference. You guys looking forward to the start of conference play in these final weekends?
Oh, absolutely. That's the only thing I could say is the one time we played Michigan State, which is a very good ball club, it didn't have my best stuff, so I didn't really get to promote like what I wanted to do. So now we're finally getting to conference, and that's where kind of you see who steps up or not, who's ready for the ball, who wants it, and I think we're all ready for that to happen.
That's Phoenix Sanders, ready to go on Friday night, and you can see him a week from Friday against Memphis. Thanks for watching Phoenix Sanders here on the Mark Kingston Show. We'll be back with the head coach after this.
This is where the legends live, waiting for someone with better innovation. From the brand that reinvented the t-shirt comes the Under Armour Speedform Apollo. This is our rocket ship.
Mark, we just heard from Phoenix Sanders. In his first year here with you guys, you named him the Friday night starter. It looks like he's backed that up. What did you see from him in fall camp and now to make you confident in that decision?
Well, he brings a lot to the table that you want a pitcher to bring. He's ultra competitive. He wants the ball, and when he has the ball, you feel like you have a chance to win. His stuff is very good, 89-91 with a fastball with plus command, and his slider was good coming in, and I think it's gotten even better this year. So the big thing with him is he's been able to get into that role, know he's pitching once a week on that day, prepare for it, and he's done a really good job for us.
Able to eat up innings as well, especially last weekend, the complete game against Dartmouth. How key is that to save the save the bullpen and then set up the rest of the weekend?
It's very important. You want your Friday guy to put the team on the back on his back whenever he can, and so that allowed Tommy to be much more fresh for the rest of the weekend. So your Friday night guy, we had it last year with Jimmy Herget, and so far this year we have it with Phoenix. A competitive guy that has good stuff, that wants the ball. At the end of the day, that's what you need out of your Friday night guy, and when he can allow the bullpen to be a little more fresh for Saturday and Sunday, that's icing on the cake.
So non-conference is over. Conference play begins this weekend at Cincinnati. We won't go through all the conference opponents, but just the headline with Cincinnati to start off the weekend. This is a team that kind of is where you guys are this year. Last year they had all freshmen. Now it seems like they're coming into their own. What do you take away from this Bearcats team?
They're trending upward. There's no question about it. You look at their stats, and they're pretty strong in most areas. And they got off to a slow start because they were playing some of the best teams in the country. And now I believe they've won 10 out of their last 11. So they're definitely a team trending upward. They're definitely a program that we have respect for. So we're going to go down there, and we're going to have to play very good baseball to have success.
Last year, this conference, the American Athletic Conference, was one of the best in all of college baseball. Got 4 teams into the tournament. Do you see a similarly strong conference again this year?
I would think so. You look at the top, obviously the schools that are at the top are very strong and have some big-time quality wins, and even the teams that maybe are hovering around the 500 level, I think are going to continue to get better as the year goes on. So I think this conference is here to stay and will continue to be one of the premier conferences in the country in the long term.
So it starts this weekend at Cincinnati, then the Bulls return next weekend to take on Memphis here at the USF Baseball Stadium. Thanks for watching this edition of the Mark Kingston Show.